Hey guys, my name's Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. I just want to start this video by saying if you can hear any noises in the background, I apologise. We're still in lockdown over here in Melbourne, so all of my family is home and it's the middle of the day, so everyone's up and about. Anyway, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am doing my October TBR, and I haven't filmed a TBR video in such a long time, generally because I never stick to them, but I'm going to try and stick to this one. I'm going to be partaking in the Spooky Romance Challenge on Instagram, which is hosted by Yas Books and Bitches Who Book, and they have given us 6 prompts to work with for this month, so it's not a very daunting TBR, and I have chosen books that I'm really looking forward to and actually plan on reading this month. I'll be updating my progress regularly on my Instagram, which I'll leave linked down below. By the time this video goes up, I think it'll already be maybe the second week of October, so fingers crossed that by that point future me has already ticked at least one book off this TBR. Prompt number 1 for this challenge is a book with an orange cover, and I have chosen Learning to Feel by N.R. Walker. I've read a fair few of N.R. Walker's books when I first discovered them earlier this year, but this is one that I haven't gotten around to just yet, so I'm very keen. Nathan is a very busy man working at Mass General Hospital in Boston, and he's just kind of resigned to living a loveless life by himself, but he's still constantly feeling as though something is missing. So he makes this spur of the moment decision to leave his entire life behind and just go be this small town doctor in Belfast, Maine. The job comes with a house, and the house comes with Trent and his dog Bentley. Now Trent is a painter who's living in the house for free while he's painting it and fixing it up for Nathan. Nathan is immediately drawn to Trent, but he is curious as to why he's feeling these things for a man, so I'm assuming that he's kind of identified as straight before all of this. At the end of the day, Nathan just decides to ignore whatever his brain is telling him and just let himself feel. This sounds like an opposites attract romance with a little bit of a sexual awakening in there, and some of the reviews that I've read have said that this is actually rather steamy, so I'm kind of keen to delve into that aspect of it. Also, this is a rewritten fanfiction of N.R. Walker's that is available as a free read. Prompt number 2 for this challenge is a book that's being released in October, and I'm going to read Hostile Takeover by Lucy Lennox. I have actually read a preview for this book that I think was sent out in one of Lucy Lennox's emails, which was very steamy and got me very excited for this book. Not too happy that I had to wait until October for it, but very keen now that that date is a little bit closer and I can delve into it very soon. Now, I've actually forgotten one of our main characters' names, and I could not find it anywhere online, so bear with me while I just call him main character for the rest of this blurb. So back in college, our main character was given a dare that whoever was the next one to walk through the doors of their country club, he had to take them into a back room, have his way with them, and then bring back a souvenir. And who else walks in but Gray Blackwood, who is the guy that our main character has had a subtle crush on for a little bit of time now. It just so happens though that things get way out of hand when they go out the back and things go horribly wrong. Fast forward to present day, Gray Blackwood has clawed to the top of the Wall Street food chain, and he is dismantling the business of every one of those frat boys who did him wrong one by one. When he gets to our main character's business and starts making demands, our character doesn't see him as an enemy, but as the man that he's longed for so many years, and a man that he hopes he can get a second chance with. This definitely reads like it's going to be an enemies to lovers romance, which I'm so stoked for. It also sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a second chance romance because they already had something in the beginning of this book. Now, second chance romance is not my favorite trope. I've read a few of them in the last month and I generally try to stay away from them, but they're just kind of popping up everywhere at the moment. But I've got my fingers crossed that despite that trope, I still do fall in love with this book. Prompt number 3 is a book title with 13 letters, and if you ignore the colon, then Forgotten Luca by Sloane Kennedy fits this brief. I haven't read a lot of Sloane Kennedy books, and this one's popped up on my Goodreads a fair few times, but it does sound a bit on the darker side of things, so I've just kind of ignored it every time I've seen it. But it's been on my TBR for a little while now, and so if it's the brief, I needed a book for this, and we're finally going to delve into it. From the sounds of the blurb, Luca lives in the darker aspect of the world, one where he rescues children who were kidnapped from their parents and releases them from their captors. 8 years ago, Luca found Billy, who was a terrified 13, 14-year-old kid who'd been taken from his parents 3 years ago. His real name wasn't even Billy, but Luca had to leave him behind in order to save someone else. And when he told Billy that he would come back for him, he never did. Turns out Billy's real name is actually Remy, and when they cross paths in present day, Luca doesn't actually recognize him at first, but Remy sure as hell recognizes Luca and he wants nothing to do with him. But it just sounds like Luca is a little bit of a persistent character who does not give in so easily. From the blurb, it sounds like there might be a little bit of an age gap in this romance, and the author has also asked readers to check out the triggers before delving into this book. I think they're listed in the first few pages of the sample if you want to have a bit of a flick through that before you delve into it. Prompt number 4 is a book starting with the letter H, and for this one I've chosen Heist of the Heart by Leighton Greene. So this is a standalone book within the Morelli family series, and it's the only one, apart from book 6 that hasn't been released yet, that I haven't read. I honestly couldn't tell you why I didn't read this one when I went through and binged like the other 5 books in the series. I said I'd come back to it and then I never did, but that time is finally here. Hudson absolutely loathes Ricci, but the mobster might be his only chance to make it out alive at the end of the new year. It's New Year's Eve, the Morelli-owned family nightclub Kismet has just closed for the night, but before dawn there is going to be a betrayal, a theft, and a murder. And someone is setting Hudson up to take the fall for all 3. So if Hudson and Gio can't find out who's actually behind the crime before the Morelli family boss gets back in town, it might be the end of the line for both of them. This is a novella, so I'm pretty sure it takes place between books 2 and 3. I could be horribly wrong, that was just a random guess. So I do know whether our characters live or die since I've read the other books in the series, but I don't know any of the details because they don't actually mention them in the later books. So I'm very keen to go back and read Hudson and Gio's story. Prompt number 5 is the retelling of a fairy tale, and I think this might be the book that I'm most excited about on this TBR. It is Lord of Eternal Night by Alderson. I have wanted to read this book since he first announced what it was about, and I've somehow never gotten around to reading it yet. Jack's life only has one meaning: to break the curse or die trying. He is the witch's prophesized savior. He has a power that no one has seen or heard of in over a century. He needs to kill the creature, break the curse, and restore power to his coven, but the creature is nothing like Jack believed he would be, and nothing like the stories he's grown up hearing. Tensions rise between Jack and Marius as half-truths are uncovered, and conflicting emotions are simmering beneath the surface. I'm going to try and reel you into this book, if I haven't already, with like one sentence, so let's go. This is a steamy, enemies to lovers, witches and vampires, Beauty and the Beast retelling. Do I need to say anything more? The last prompt for this October reading challenge is a book with a dark cover. For this prompt, I've chosen Head Above Water by C.E. Ricci. I have seen this all over Bookstagram recently, and I think I have some other C.E. Ricci's books on my TBR, but I've just heard that they're going to break me, and this book in particular, and I didn't know if I was ready for that, but I've signed myself up for it, so there's no getting out of it now. So our main characters, Easton and Canon, are stepbrothers, but Canon never wanted anything to do with his family, let alone Easton. Meanwhile, Canon has been everything that Easton's ever wanted and never able to have. Canon is straight, he's engaged, and he supposedly got this perfect life on the complete opposite side of the country. But when a major loss brings Canon back home, him and Easton find themselves pushed together, closer than they ever thought they would be. Canon's become Easton's anchor in this time of heartache, and Easton just keeps reminding himself that he needs to keep his head above water because eventually Canon is going to have to return to his real life, and Easton doesn't know where that's going to leave him. As you've probably guessed, this is an enemies to lovers stepbrothers romance, and let me tell you, when I first got into MM romance, I never thought that I would be one to read the stepbrothers trope. But I've read multiple and I'm loving it, so let's dive straight into another one. Those are the 6 books that I have planned for this October TBR and the Spooky Romance Challenge. I didn't want to plan any more reads just because I never stick to my TBRs. I've uploaded quite a few of them over my kind of booktube career, if you would call it that, and I have never read one book, I don't think, that's ever been on one of those TBRs. I'm absolutely horrible. I am such a mood reader, and so planning my reads in advance just never works out for me. But like I said in the beginning, I'm so determined to stick through this because I really want to read all of these books and I think I'm really going to enjoy them. So fingers crossed, I actually stick by this one. If you guys have read or want to read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments because I always love to know your thoughts. But like I said in the beginning, my name is Caitlin. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below if you'd like to see some similar content. I will see you guys next week with another video. Goodbye.